That is so that in case they have a bounce out, which is pretty rare with compound, but you could also have a shoot through where it actually goes through the target. Some places their targets are really shot through, so you could have one pass through. So you want to mark your holes to make sure that you know the quality of each arrow. You don't want to have a hole that's not marked in the 1 and then have a hole that's also not marked in the 10, because then you get the point of the 1 and not the 10, which would be very, very unfortunate. So
That would be very unfortunate.
all right, so it looks like Logan and Madison are changing theirs. It looks like Logan shot at 86 and Madison shot at 84. Okay, so he's leading going in. Brandon has moved hers to an 88. So she's only dropped 2 points. Let's see, John Michael's at an 83 and Keegan's at an 86. Crash has an 85. Oh, it looks like Andrew hasn't moved his. And neither has Julia yet. Oh, there he goes. All right, Andrew shot an 85. Okay. And Julia shot, oh, they're tied. Oh, look at that. So Crash and Julia are actually tied right now. So that'll be interesting to see. They have 2 more ends to go.
They are very evenly matched.
Right? I know.
That's one of the fun things about compound is it's the most accurate bow. And so those scores will be just very,
Yeah, they're really close.
very close.
Get to see all the... They're getting ready for their 4th end. So they'll have this one and 1 more, and that is it for the top 8. So you have 3 matching jerseys right there, so that means they're all from the same club, which is really neat to see. And I believe it looks like for the recurve,
We have one
tie, and then we have, it looks like 2 of them have won twice, and one of them, they've tied 1 as well. So we have
And then we have one recurve match that already finished.
Yes, we do. So we just have 3 sets there, so 6 archers. So this will be their top 6 then, for right now.
Mm-hmm. And the bear bow is still going in their range.
There's our compounders again. Let's see how they go. Oh, Logan's got something loose on his bow. You want to make sure and keep all of that tight. Any little vibration can make your arrow go just slightly off, and that's all it takes. So you want to make sure and keep all that equipment nice and tight. Look at those holds. They're like rock solid. That's impressive to see. They're checking it out, seeing how it went. Sometimes it's hard to see with the shadows and everything on your arrows. So sometimes you just like really want to know, like, is it in, is it out?
And most of these youth archers actually shot either this morning or this afternoon, so they
Yes.
have had long days of shooting.
Yeah. And especially the morning line, they got up really early. 'Cause they started at 8, so they had to be here by 7. So, and even like some of these kiddos came up, maybe they had other family members shooting early, or they just came up to help. So, let's see how they go.
Lots of close scores down
Yeah,
there.
look at those. Those are really close. All our judges walking down, making sure no one needs a line call. So they're keeping score on those clipboards that you're seeing right now.
Yes, so for the state championship, we had 2 different score boards. We had the paper, handwritten one, and then we had the electronic eyes on score, which you can actually still go to if you're curious about
Yes,
how
it
someone
has
did.
all of the rankings from this whole state tournament.
And then
They're moving
for
it. Let's see. How did
for
they do?
this, they will only use the paper because it's not running scores. They're just doing the elimination rounds.
Right. So it looks like Chap and Tahiti tied on this one as well. So he has 6 and she has 2. And then, is it Alexis and Matthew next? No, it's not either.
That's Alexis, and I am not sure who
It must have been Elise.
won that one.
Yeah. So it looks like she won that one as well. Looks like Alexis would have won.
And then
And
on
then,
the compound side, we still have a lot of close scores. So Crash, his target is the one all the way far on the left
Let's
on your
talk about
screen.
number 1 right
Number
down
1,
there.
and he is in the lead by 1 point.
John Michael and
Actually,
Keegan,
Keegan is
yeah.
in the lead by 2 points.
Rendon
And then
was next.
Rendon's
Yeah.
in the lead by 3 points. And Logan is in the lead by 3.
Hold
Oh,
up.
nope, just
They're changing
kidding.
it. By 2 points.
By 2 points.
Okay. Thank you to our judges for checking on that. Making sure all the scores are correct. So this will be their final end unless we have a tie. And then they will again do the 1 arrow shoot off. So it looks like the other 2 recurves finished because they only go to 6 points.
Yep,
And
so we
then
will
still
announce
have
who
one
is
more.
moving on in just a minute
Yes.
when we get that information.
This is their very last one. This will determine who is
Going into finals.
going to get the money.
And it is a big pot this year.
It really is. We've got Ivy
And they're
back there with
paying
their
out
ears
all the
on.
way through 6th place.
Yes. That would be exciting to see. So you had a letdown there. Could be something didn't feel right, or it's kind of personal preference whether you decide to go ahead and shoot it if it feels off or let down. In a shoot-off situation, you want all your shots to feel very strong. So letting down is probably a good option. If you have a thought, you should definitely let down.
Yes, if you think maybe I should have let this down, you probably should have let it
Yes.
down. The other thing we see that we did not talk about earlier is you'll see the eye patches
Yes.
on some archers.
Like Rendon has eyes on
has
her.
one
It's
coming
really
off
cool.
of her hat. And that can be for a couple things. Outdoors, it can be to work out shadows.
Block the sun.
Indoors, it's most likely used for a cross-dominant eye, which is where either you have a tendency of your non-dominant eye wanting to take over, or you would just rather have one eye closed, but
Yeah.
for some reason you don't want to scrunch your face to close that one eye.
Because sometimes it's harder to look through, especially for compound. You look through that peep and you have both eyes open, and sometimes your eyes get confused and they're like, what am I doing? So having something to block that other eye really just helps to hone in on that. All right, lots of archers leaving. So we still have Julia and John Michael shooting, and Keegan's still on the line. Part of line etiquette because John Michael was at full draw. And then John Michael's doing
And
the
that's
same for
just
Julia.
the tournament manners,
Yeah.
just waiting to step off the line until the person next to you is finished so that nothing that you do will impact their shot.
Right. You want to be as polite as possible. And these archers are great about that. So they're going to see if there's any ties now. They're going to turn in their scores. Look at that. Friendship. They're all such good sports. So it sounds like
And
we
a
will
lot
have a
of
one
these
arrow shoot
archers
off, or
shoot
is-
with
or not?
each other fairly regularly. So that's another fun thing about
Yeah.
tournaments is seeing the same archers at every one.
Well, like
You
you can
build
see right now, like
friendships,
Logan, John Michael, Andrew, Julia, Crash. I'm not sure about Keegan, but
Those are
those
all-
and Madison. Those are all part
Texas
of
archery.
Texas Archers.
They did really well at state this year.
They really did. Yeah, Texas Archery did really well. Really well at nationals
And
too.
they have almost 40 kids in their youth program.
Yes.
And they were a wonderful host.
Oh, yeah. Texas archery is the best. So they're counting up their scores real quick.
So again, it'll be if there's any ties, they'll do that one arrow shoot off, and if
Otherwise.
not, my brain is fried now too. Otherwise, they will go into the semifinals match and then to the finals. So the payouts do go through sixth place, but the amount is determined by your placing.
Yes. All right, so it looks like that last recurve match, who did we have there?
That was this one, Matthew
Yeah.
and Natalie.
I believe so. I
So
know it's
it
Matthew.
looks like Natalie
We'll take the win on
will
that.
take the win on that one.
It looks like it looks like, yeah, so she'll take that one. And then
And we're
let's see
still waiting on the compounders.
what the compounders are doing. I'm not sure why that one says 190.
I'm not
Because that's
either.
not possible. 150 is the most possible if you shot perfect. So we'll have to see about that.
So there's
So
Julia
Julia's at
had
a
the
143.
143.
It's very nice. All right, looks like Keegan had a 144. Brennan had a 146. They're not all competing against each other, just the other people on their target. So it looks like we only...
Yep, so it looks like
Here we see. Okay, so John Michael had a
140.
140. So
Okay, so it
Keegan
looks
won
like
that match.
that was Keegan. You're right.
Yep. I'm going to assume Brendan won that one since Andrew didn't put up his number. I'm not sure about Logan and Madison also. Have to wait and see on them.
And then Crash is still waiting to update his.
Yes.
Big Julia. And you'll see the judges walking down there, resetting them all for the next. This will be the final 4 archers coming up in compound and also in recurve.
All right, so it looks like Julia did win that by 1 point. Look at that. That is so close. 142 to 143. Did you see about Logan?
I did not see who won Logan. So we
Logan
will
and
see that
Madison
in just a
were
minute.
competing against each other, and I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see. So they're getting some new targets out there. Always very helpful. You want to start with a clean face. One of those holes. All right, so it looks like...
It looks like Madison is putting her bow up, so it looks like Logan did win that
All
shoot
right.
off. So
So
going
now-
into finals for compound, we will have, or semifinals, I suppose, we will have Julia and Keegan
And Rendon. And
on target number 1.
Yes.
And then we will have Rendon and Logan on target number 2.
All right.
And our
then do we have
recurvers, they
recurve?
should announce in just a minute.
Okay.
And I believe bare bow
there
bow
they
archers
come.
will be
There's
coming
Lydia.
in to join us in this range.
She is a barebow archer. So I guess she would also have made the top 8.
Smile for you, smile for you. I will never cry for you, cry for you, cry for you, cry for you. I can't take this anymore. You say we're done, but you still want more. Baby, what I need is you out the door. This time I'm sure, yeah, that you're a bad boy, up to no good. Trying to be a man, but you're stuck in boyhood. Baby, you won't ever treat me the way you should. So it's over for good. I will never smile for you, smile for you, smile for you, smile for you. smile for you. You made your bed, now lie in it, baby. Rest your head, let it dream about me. Cause I'm fed up with you crazy. I will never smile for you, smile for you, smile for you, smile for you. Yeah. I will never cry for you, cry for you, cry for you, cry for you. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Why do you expect me to when I'm over you? Can't you tell by the look on my face that I will never smile for you, smile for you, smile for you, smile for you. Yeah, I will never smile for you. Yeah. I will never smile for you. I will never smile for you. I will never smile for you, smile for you, smile for you, smile for you. I will never cry for you, cry for you, cry for you, cry for you. I can't take this anymore. You say we're done, but you still.
All right, so they are getting set up for the semifinal matches.
Yes, the bear bowers are joining us. They're
So
going
we'll
to put
have
their
4
targets.
bear bowers, 4 recurvers,
and 4 compound.
compounders.
Yes, this will be your Texas Open champions. This will be for the money. They're all exciting there. So Dakota is at the booth with Robin, and they are making sure all the scores are accurate, organizing all of that. And then for the adult division, those shoot-offs will be tomorrow morning starting at 8 a.m.
Bright and early.
Yes, very bright and early. And it'll be the same format as tonight.
Yes. It'll be the top 16 men and women in the adult categories.
Yes.
And then you'll have one going against 16, second going against 15, and so on and so forth. And it's really interesting to see who wins because typically one is against 16, you would think that one would always win. But there are some instances where number 16 will come out with the victory.
Like Julia in the compound came in 8th, and she is in the top 4.
Yes.
So, and then we are still waiting to hear on the bear bow.
Yep, most of them have their targets up now, so we are just waiting on the name listings.
Natalie in recurve also came in. She came in 6th, and she's also in the top 4. So, does not necessarily mean that the people who go in 1st through 6th will place. It has to do with how they shoot.
Because doing a shoot-off can be a whole different.
Yeah, you've
than
got
doing
all
a
the
whole
pressure
tournament.
and all
You
the
also
lights,
don't
all the
have
people
the
watching.
second 5 ends to make up for
That's
any
true.
mistakes.
That's true, yeah, because in a tournament, you know, you shoot and you're like, oh man, I shot this, so now I can shoot this to recover from. But you really can't do that as much when you only have 5 ends to shoot, and you don't also have as much like warm up. Like some archers, they will actually take that first little bit of the tournament to warm up. Maybe it's the first 2 ends or 5 ends, or you know, however long it takes you to warm up. But then here, you have to be on your game right away. So Scott is giving them some directions on how the shoot-off will work for the top 4. So we are waiting to hear that. They're going to talk about the brackets, how it all works.
And they actually do already have the placements for 5th and 6th. They're working those out
Okay.
right now, and
We will let y'all know.
that is what Robin and Dakota are doing over at the judges' booth.
Okay. So Dakota is one of their coaches. He works at Texas Archery. Robin is actually from our area, but she is helping out today. All right, so they are getting ready. They're thanking
giving
all the
some thank yous
volunteers.
out. There's so many volunteers and judges
Oh,
who
yeah.
make these tournaments possible.
It's really not possible without them at
the
all.
committees of TSAA,
Yes.
all the judges who come out to volunteer their time, the coaches, of course the archers
course
who
the
show up
archers.
to compete, the parents who support these kids.
Our host location, Texas Archery,
Yes.
they're donating their time. So,
And they are donating their time so that 100% of the money coming in can go as payouts to
Wow.
these archers.
that's not something you see every day. That is amazing. They're all about
Supporting
Helping
the
out,
kids
yep.
and helping the sport of archery grow and thrive.
and archery is actually one of the fastest growing sports in America at the moment.
It is the fastest growing sport in America as of 2022.
I think pickleball may be winning for 2023. So, y'all better join up some archery
That's
because we
right.
want
We
to
don't
be on
want
top.
pickleball to take the lead.
Yep. We want to make sure and keep archery at the top. Because who doesn't love archery?
So we talked about earlier, you had a lot of Texas archery archers coming into this shoot-off. They have over 40 youth in their archery programs here. And they've done really well in the last couple
Oh, yeah.
tournaments.
They do
had
really
like
well.
8 in the top 10 at nationals across the nation last week.
Wow.
They had a couple place at the Vegas shoot
They did.
last
yeah,
month.
they
Peyton that
really-
we interviewed
Peyton and Emery.
earlier got first, and then Emery got third, I believe.
I think they had a few others too. They had a lot of kiddos going out. All right, so they're getting ready. So Crash got
Crash.
5th place. And Andrew came in 6th place, so they're walking up right now.
So that's Crash de Hoyos with 5th and Andrew Z with 6th.
Madeline Yee took 6th. Oh, took 5th. I didn't hear that name.
So you had Madeline Yee with,
Oh, Ellie Van Meter took 5th. And Braden Evans took 6th place.
Can't believe I made it. Needed to see who you really are. You made your bed, now lie in it, baby. Rest your head, let it dream about me. 'Cause I'm fed up with you crazy. I will never smile for you, smile for you, smile for you, smile for you. Yeah. I will never cry for you, cry for you, cry for you, cry for you. Oh yeah, oh yeah. How do you expect me to when I'm over you? Can't you tell by the look?
All right, so they are getting ready. They're showing everyone who are the top. So they're talking about Julia and Keegan, Brendan and Logan. They're going through all of those. They're going to have Chap right there in the gray shirt. Alexis and also gray. So they're just going over who all is there. They're getting ready to start. This will be your finals. So they've already decided 5th and 6th in each of these divisions from the last shoot-off. And it's really neat to see because these kids are from all over Texas. So although a lot of them are from Texas Archery, there are actually a lot of students from other places in Texas. So that is really amazing to see all the different people. They come out and they show up and they support. So you don't have to be from a certain club or anything. You just come on out and shoot. So they
all
are
right, so to recap, as they are heading into the semifinals, we have Julia and Keegan on target number 1, and Rendon and Logan on target number 2. Those are our compound shooters.
Julia and Keegan are shooting for 3rd and 4th. And then Rendon and Logan are shooting for 1st and 2nd. Is that correct?
Nope, other way around.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
It should be. Yes, so Julia and Keegan are in
Are in the finals. Okay.
yes. Then for recurve, which is next, we have Chap Post and Alexis Lance on target number 3,
They're both wearing gray today.
and Natalie and Ethan on target number 4. So those are your recurve semifinalists. For barebow semifinalists, which we have not gotten to talk about because
We
they are
haven't,
in the
I
other
know.
range, we have TJ Cole and Lydia Van Meter, and that is right in that. Lydia is in her red, white, and blue South Texas Joad jersey, and TJ is in the black jersey behind her. Then our other 2 barebowers are Isabella Cairo and Nicholas Powell, and they are on target number 6.
All right, so we'll just show you all those in a minute. You can see the compounders' very serious looks on their faces. There's our barebowers.
Our recurve archers.
Yep, they're all down there.
Some pretty focused kiddos
yeah.
down there.
That attention to detail.
And the stakes when you're shooting
Oh, yeah,
for
you're not
money.
just shooting
you're not
for
just
placing.
shooting for bragging rights. You are shooting.
Yeah, you're bringing home hard-earned money today.
And
So-
several of these archers, like Rendon and Julia, shot today.
Yes,
So they have
and
had a
Keegan
long
and
day
Logan.
of
All of the
shooting.
compounds did, I believe. Most of the recurve
Lydia
did
also
too.
shot.
I know Ethan. I'm pretty sure Chap did. Yeah, I know Lydia did.
So as they go down to score this first end, we will get their who's leading up on those blackboards on top of the targets. So again, the compounders will be based on a running total of their 5 ends, and the barebow and recurve will be tally points.
Look how close those arrows are to the X. It just shows
Lots of great arrows.
how well those archers do.
And the judges are down there hanging back, so if there is a line call, they will come up and resolve it, and they get to look at it with a magnifying glass,
Yep,
a flashlight,
flashlight.
a couple different angles before they say for sure.
You can see as they're talking about, ooh, did it touch the line? Did it not touch the line? You can see some of that quiver candy we were talking about earlier, all that stuff that hangs down. That's all personalized stuff, maybe that you've gotten from a tournament, or just something that you like to have on there.
So it looks like Ethan is in the lead. He won that end.
Looks like Rendon shot a 29.
And TJ won his end on barebow.
Logan shot a 27.
Oh, I believe that's his first 27 of the shoot-off.
I think so. Keegan shot a 29. Looks like Chap won his. And is that Ethan's? Did Ethan win his?
Chap
So-
won his,
oh, Julia
Ethan
and
won
Keegan are
his,
tied.
and TJ won his.
Okay.
Yep, and Julia and Keegan are tied.
They both shot 29s.
And then we're waiting on one more barebow score to come in, and that's Isabella's and Nicholas.
They are waiting very patiently. That's a very difficult thing to do because you're like, oh man, I just want to go shoot. I just wanna go
Especially
shoot."
knowing some of those scores. So on the compounders, we
Yes.
have 3 29s and 127. That's where the test of how well you do under pressure really
Yes.
comes on, because those scores don't necessarily knock you out of the runnings, but you gotta really.
Yeah, well, and I know like Rendon talked about, she shot Lancaster this year and Vegas. Julia also shot Vegas, I know. But Rendon got on with raising an archer, and she talked about how she actually likes shooting under pressure. Makes her shoot better. So it's kind of, each person has their own thing. Do you shoot better under pressure? Or does it make you go, oh my goodness?
So it looks like Isabella and Nicholas ended up with a tie
Oh,
down
look
there.
at that. Okay.
Which you don't see as often in barebow.
You don't. That's true. That's very interesting to see. So who won?
So all of these archers down here are guaranteed money.
Yes.
So now they are just shooting for the question of how much.
And of course the bragging rights.
Got some nice form down there.
Yeah, so these are your top archers from the whole weekend. You'll see a lot of
Lots of
people
focus
rest those
down
bows on their legs because those are heavy bows. You've got weight on the actual bow, you've got weight on the stabilizers.
And even if you're only holding a 5-pound mass weight bow, when you're holding that bow for 4 hours solid in a tournament,
Yeah,
it can
builds
get to
up.
you after a while. So giving your muscles as much rest as you can helps them to perform the best.
Yep, and the recurvers actually set it on their shoes so it doesn't scratch the floor, or rather the floor doesn't scratch the bow.
Couple binoculars going up, checking those scores.
I love those eyes on Rendon's patch. That's so funny to me.
Yes, Rendon has eyeballs on her eye patch, which is very fitting.
Ivy is spotting behind them with the ears. Look at that focus. That is something you have to really be tuned into your mental game for this. There's no second guessing your shot. You've just got to go with it and trust it.
Got lots of encouragement coming from the parents and friends sitting behind them there.
All right, let's go see how they did.
Second scoring end.
So nerve-wracking because they're all so close.
And in the case of a tie, they will go to a 1-arrow shoot-off.
Yes, just
where
like
it
we
will
saw.
be, if they tie there, it will be whose ever arrow is closest to the center.
Yes, those are some really tight matches. All right.
And they will
let's
still
see.
mark these arrows.
Yes. Just in case something were to happen, want to make sure they get the full value of each arrow. Looks like they're all finishing up. Yep, starting to see some score changes. Okay, so it looks like Ethan won his match. And it looks like Chap won his. Brendan shot at 59. Okay, so she would have shot a 30 that last one, so that would be perfect. Literally.
Yep, so Rendon's only dropped 1 point in all 3.
Yep.
Looks like Logan had a 29 that end for a total of 56. So Rendon's ahead by 3 points still.
Yep.
And then
Keegan shot.
Keegan had a 28 that end for a total of 57.
Yep.
And let's see where Julia's sitting.
Oh, let's see. So Barebow, who is on that target?
Also 57. So Julia and Keegan are still tied.
Wow, that's crazy.
And
It looks like TJ won his match as well.
it looks like Nicholas won his.
No, they tied because he's got
Oh,
2
they did.
points.
She just hasn't changed hers
Yeah.
yet. You're right.
Wow, so a tie again. That is, you don't see that a lot in Barebow. So right now we have both of the recurves with Chap and Ethan leading. And then for the Barebow, we have TJ leading and then Isabella and Nicholas tying.
tied.
Both ends. So we have 3 more ends to go.
And then for recurve, we have Chap
Oh, that's what I just,
and
and Ethan.
Ethan in the lead. That's
Yes.
what you just said. Okay.
Yeah. And then,
And then
Julia and Keegan
TJ
are
is
still
in the
tied.
lead of Barebow. All right, so they are headed into end number 3. So close of scores. These are really
And they are
up
still
for
timed,
grabs.
so they still have 2 minutes to shoot all 3 arrows. They have 10 seconds to walk up to the line, and then they have their 2 minutes. So they have plenty of time They even have time to let down if they really need to. Or if
Lots
they just
of
want to.
focus.
Oh yeah, look at those eyes. They're like laser focused.
You'll see a lot of those bare bows bobble back and forth like Lydia's just did when you released. And a lot of that is because they don't have the long stabilizers to pull them in one direction. So when you let that bow jump out of your hand, it has more of a bobble effect
Yep.
up and down than a recurve would, because the weights on the recurve will pull that down into a jump.
Yes, and the bare bows are allowed small weights. They just cannot extend.
Their weights
4
are just on the
inches.
body of
That's
their
correct.
bow instead of the end of the stabilizer.
Yes. Look at those colors. We've got champagne pink. We've got black. We've got a really pretty version of blue, and then red.
Bow
the
colors will be
compounds.
something you will hear a lot of archers get
Yeah.
very
Look at that, it's like a
excited
green
about.
recurve. I've actually never seen a green recurve. Look at that. Oh, there's 2 green. Wow, that's really interesting. Those pouches we were talking about. So it looks like he has some kind of like monster or
Monster
Bigfoot or
on
something.
his-
It's kind of fun.
Those are fun. It's always fun to accessorize
Yes,
your bow. We were talking about this morning, Bucky's actually came out with a release
they
pouch.
did. Yes.
They had like 8 of them or something.
Wow.
So
Let's go see how it works. So this could be the end for some of those recurve and barebow because they only go to 6 points.
yep.
So we'll see if they tied or if the leading archers are still in the lead.
So that's with if Chap and
Ethan
Ethan
and
and TJ
TJ,
won
yeah.
this one, then theirs will actually be over.
They will take first.
No, they
well,
will go into the
that's true.
finals.
Yes, that's true. I forgot.
Yep, so it looks like Chap won his, so he will be going into finals.
All right. So he'll go in
He'll go into the
to
gold
the gold
silver
medal.
match.
All right.
Looks like Ethan also won his.
All right. Got some compounders changing theirs real quick.
Yep, so
Looks like Rendon has an 87
out of a possible 90, so she has still only dropped 3 points.
yeah, that's very, very good. She's
And
leading
Logan at an 85, so he actually, Rendon is only in the lead by 2 points now.
Yes.
Closing that
We have
gap.
Chaps and Ethan's down there, waiting to see
Looks
on
like we
Lydia and
have
TJ's.
Isabel and Nicholas tied
Still
again.
tied. Wow, look at that.
3-4-3. That is not something you
Yeah.
will see in a barebow end very often, let
No.
alone 3 times in a row.
All right, so it
Look at those
looks
smiles
like
coming back off the line.
it looks like Keegan and Julia tied again. They both shot. They both have an 86. That is crazy. That pressure. Don't drop a point.
So some of the best youth archers
Oh, yeah.
in the state of Texas, well, are the best youth
They are.
archers in the state of Texas.
Yes. And I believe all
All
of
right,
them
still waiting
placed
on
today.
Lydia and TJ's scores to come
Yes,
in.
let's see. How did that one go?
Because on this one, if TJ won, then
It
their
looks
round
like
is
it looks
over,
like
and
TJ
it
won.
looks like that is. So TJ will be going to semifinals.
Yes, so we'll have to wait and see how Nicholas and Isabella do on the next one. Do they tie again? And if they do, then they will do a one-air shoot off. Otherwise, then it will obviously be whoever won.
So the archers that got eliminated this round, Lydia and who else did we have? Lydia and Alexis and Natalie, they will all still get money because they were
Yes.
still in the top 6.
So those will be your 4th place then. Is that correct? We'll have to wait and see. So I'll have to wait and see if they'll have the bare bows shoot
Yes,
again
Dakota
or
will
not.
come in and announce that in a minute.
Yes. Dakota is running the youth shoot off today.
We you can hear a lot of background noise. There are a lot of people very excited.
Yes. There's our photo booth over there, over where Scott
That's
is.
right. We have a wonderful Texas State Championship backdrop.
Yes.
We took lots of pictures there earlier this afternoon.
You can see all the family, friends watching.
We do still have T-shirts on that back wall.
Yes, we do.
That Molly and Amy Booth are working.
And making on
And
demand.
actively making, yes. There's some really nice state championship shirts, and then just some fun, straight out of Texas archery mom. Some fun shirts there. All right,
Right.
so they are headed into their.
I think this is their
This
fifth.
should be their. Is this their fifth? I think it's their fourth end.
You're right. It's their fourth end. Just kidding.
Right, so we're down to Julia, Keegan, Rendon, and Logan for compound.
So then for bareboat, Isabella and Nicholas
Are still tied.
are still tied. They will, I misspoke. They will shoot this one, and then they will get to shoot the next one. So if they tie both, then they will shoot
That is right.
for the one arrow shoot off. Otherwise, they'll just go with whoever gets to 6.
Lots of focus there. So they are tying, and they are having pretty different form there.
Yeah,
But still
one
very
right
evenly
and one left.
matched.
Here we
you
have
Keegan checking out his last arrow score.
Isabella looks very focused. It's really interesting
That big
to see.
exhale
Yeah.
after a shot.
Looking at how they respond to how they shot the arrow, because sometimes you're like, oh, that was a terrible arrow, and then you look down there and you're like, wow, it actually wasn't a terrible arrow. And sometimes you get the opposite, and you're like, man.
And sometimes you'll notice archers, they'll look frustrated or angry at their
Or
arrows.
concerned.
That's not always the case.
No.
Sometimes it is just a heavy dose of focus.
Yeah, I mean, just to center in when you have everyone you know is watching you, and there's money at stake and title. Like, it's a lot. So keeping all of that out of your head while you're just focusing on your process, that takes a lot of mental strength. They say
Right,
archery
we will
is
be heading down to
a very mental
score.
sport.
So we have 2 ties out of our 3 sets down there. We have Julia and Keegan tied at 86, which means they have only dropped 4 from perfect the whole time. And then we also have Isabella and Nicholas tied.
Yes, we do.
All right, so looking at those targets, it looks like Keegan will pull ahead a bit in this end.
It's hard to tell, though. We'll have to wait and see.
It is hard to tell. Waiting for those scores to come in can be
Oh,
really
I know. All of us sitting back here
nerve-wracking.
like, oh, which is it? Which is it?
Especially if you're like a really archery fan, like you're
Oh, yeah.
really into the sport, watching, you know what it feels like to be that archer down there. Like, oh my goodness, what will the score
Yeah,
be?
it's like you're standing on the line waiting to go pull your arrows, and you're like, is it touching the line, please?
And at that point, there's nothing
Nope,
nothing you can do.
do.
So it's just
Just waiting.
hope for the best and then try and move on and shoot a better arrow next time.
Yep.
All
That'll
right,
be.
so they're marking
see.
and pulling, so we should have
Yeah,
scores coming up
Logan's already
soon.
pulled, so he's pulling his arrows right now. So let's see if they update us, so you guys can see how it's going. Oh, okay. So Rendon's gonna
All
move
right,
hers.
here goes Rendon.
She is at.
Oh, Logan forgot to update his, that swivel midway
All right,
back.
she's at a 116.
All right, so still only dropped 4. And Logan is at a 114.
There's
There
a
we
Y
go.
there for a second. Almost. All right.
So still just 2 points separating Logan and Rendon.
Looks like
And it looks
Julia
like
and Keegan
pulled
is
ahead
also,
by 1.
Yeah,
that
1
end.
point. Oh man, that is so close. How did our bare bows do? Let's see. Did they tie
They're
again?
Still marking and pulling.
Okay.
Nope,
nope.
looks like
Looks like
Isabella
Ella's the
won that one.
All right, so we'll have one more, because it's whoever gets to 6 points first.
So if they tie in the next one, Isabella will be the winner.
Yes.
And if Nicholas wins, then they will go to a one arrow shoot off.
Yes. Talk about pressure. Like you have one arrow to get it right.
So you have those encouraging hugs and back slaps and words of advice coming from parents, coaches, and friends back there.
Or sometimes just making you laugh. Just
Yep.
relax, have fun. 'Cause if you're not having
Shoot better
fun,
when you
don't
smile.
need to. You don't need to shoot that much. And all these kids look like they're having a good time.
Yes.
So.
So this will be the end that determines who goes to the final match.
Oh, that's so exciting. You have that line down there. It's just the waiting line. That's where everyone's supposed to wait for, so they don't get
Brendan has
caught
a
up.
very pretty bow color.
I know,
You
right?
don't see that teal very
You
often.
don't. I think PSE may be the only one who actually has it. I'm not sure. I've never seen it any other bow. You can see just how steady their bows are. They like barely move at all.
Yep, those strong and steady
Back
full
over to our bare
draws.
bows. That little thing he has on his finger there, that's actually a finger tab. So that is a little piece of leather around, it usually has some paracord to attach it to the finger.
And that's just to protect their fingers
Yes,
from
'cause
the string.
they're actually pulling back the string. So instead of using a release like the compounds. I love how his arm guard, there's that little piece on his arm down there to protect his arm from the string hitting it. His arm guard and his bow match. I really like that.
I did not notice that. You will see a lot of archers color coordinating their accessories
So there,
with their bows.
Logan like pulled up his bow really fast, and that could be like maybe he was aiming slightly low, so he wants to push that arrow up into the center. You'll see that a lot with advanced archers when they're really confident in their shot, and they'll be like,
It
"Oh,
is
I just
interesting
need to
to
go a
see
little
how
bit."
much you can correct after, like in that split second
Yep.
after you release.
Yeah, it is pretty amazing. You gotta really be into it.
I'm
like-
seeing lots of solid shots in the yellow on that one. This will definitely be a tight.
Lots of people excited. Lots of smiles too. Julia's running to catch up. All right, let's see. How did everyone end up? It's always amazing to see because, like, even in the shoot-off, someone can start out low and then, like, come up.
Jump up.
Yeah, just depending on how the other archer shoots. Like, if you shoot consistent, you're hard to catch. But if you're, like, sometimes high and sometimes low, and it's like, oh, it's a real toss-up.
So some of those judges walking behind peeking.
Yep, seeing if they need a line call.
With these archers, you will see that fairly
Yes.
commonly. Those.
They're just barely.
So Julia's over there raising her hand for a call.
It's very nerve-wracking. You're like, come on, call
So
it in.
that's when the judge will come over. He'll get to look at it as a couple different angles, use flashlight, magnifying glass, and then say what he believes
Yes,
that
he
arrow
will determine
is.
what the quality of the arrow is.
So it looks like Nicholas and Isabella have taken down their numbers.
Oh, look at that. So Rendon looks like she wins with 1 point. A 144 to a 143. That is
143. That
so
is
close.
very close.
Wow.
So Rendon will be going into the finals.
Yes. And I didn't see the Barebow took down their numbers. So I don't know if Isabella won or not. We'll have to wait and see.
It looks like Julia and Keegan are still discussing that line call.
Yes. Maybe we're looking at one of Keegan's arrows too. Not really sure yet. We'll have to wait and see.
Yes, we were looking at one of those. So then the judges down there are going to get it set up for the finals.
Yes, that'll be really exciting to see.
And that is the first time we have had a youth finals.
Yes, this will be the first. You guys are the first to watch. Look how close. They have two judges down there. They're like, is it in? Is it out? They're not sure. Brendan's
Oh, that is a
finishing up.
close
Oh
one.
yeah, that's really close. Look at
Looks
that. Is that
like
a 30
Julia
on hers?
finished with a 30.
That is amazing. Look at that.
So that means if the judge calls that other arrow out, then Julia will
Let's
win
see.
this in.
Did they
Let's see
call
what
it?
she says.
She ends with a 144.
144, which
same
is
as
a
Rendon.
30.
Let's see. What did Keegan do? We're all waiting over here. All right, so they're going to set
All
up
right, so
stages.
Dakota's announcing that all of those are done.
They're done with their scorecards. So they get special scorecards for these. They just get the 5 ends, not the full 20 ends that they normally get.
So they will
Still
do
waiting to
one of
see.
these finals matches at a time.
Yes. Still waiting to see on Keegan. Is he going to move it?
Yep, he's reaching up there right
Oh,
now.
no, he's just
Oh,
folding
he's taking it down.
Oh, wait, maybe. Oh, he's going to move it. Okay, let's see.
And it looks like Nicholas won his round, so he will be going against TJ in the finals.
So it looks like Keegan's air was in, so he wins with a 145.
Wow, look at those scores. 145, 144, 144, and 143.
That is really close. All right, so we're going to close this out, and Scott and Wendy are going to bring y'all the gold medal match.
And going into the gold medal match, so that will be Recurve Chat Post versus Ethan Chan. Barebow Nicholas Powell versus TJ Cole. And Compound
Will be Rendon Brooks.
Rendon Brooks and Keegan Grissom.
All right.
So Scott and Wendy will be back in just a minute
Make
to
sure
walk
you
y'all
tune
through theirs.
back.
Definitely tune back in for that because that will be a very exciting shoot-off.
All right,
So
we'll see you
we'll
guys
y'all soon.
tomorrow.
Outside my window, you made your bed, now lie in it, baby. Rest your head, let it dream about
We got multiple songs going here.
it, when you're crazy. Every moment tonight, they led me to you. Every single time you look at me, I lose it too. Why don't you come sit next to me? Let things happen naturally, like it used to be. I don't wanna go and waste another day. Mess it up again, lost in my way. I'll be the one to have the highest price to pay. If I make it home tonight, may I hold you one last time? Let me hold you one last time. What if it's too late for me now? What if you gone to someone else, so we can never be the same? How can I make up for myself? Every moment tonight, they led me to you. Every single time you look at me, I lose it too. Why don't you come sit next to me? Let things happen naturally, like it used to be. I don't wanna go and waste another day. Mess it up again, lost in my way. I'll be the one to have the highest price to pay. If I make it home tonight, may I hold you one last time? Let me hold you one last time. What if it's too late for me now? What if you gone to someone else, so we can never be the same? How can I make up for my sins? Now I'm lonely and it kills me. Can you hear me, babe? I'm lonely. I know you don't wanna talk, but just pick up the phone. We could go for a walk, talk about the things we know. Why don't you come sit next to me? Let things happen naturally, like it used to be. I don't wanna go and waste another day. Mess it up again, lost in my way. I'll be the one to have the highest price to pay. If I make it home tonight, may I hold you one last time? Let me hold you one last time. What if it's too late for me now? What if you gone to someone else, so we can never be the same? How can I make up for my sins? Now I'm lonely and it kills me. May I hold you one last time? Let me hold you one last time. What if it's too late for me now? What if you gone to someone else, so we can never be the same? How can I make up for my sins? Now I'm lonely and it kills me. Can you hear me, babe? I'm lonely. Every moment tonight, they led me to you. Every single time you look at me, I lose it too. Why don't you come sit next to me? Let things happen naturally, like it used to be. I don't wanna go and waste another day. Mess it up again, lost in my way. I'll be the one to have the highest price to pay. If I make it home tonight, may I hold you one last time? Let me hold you one last time. What if it's too late for me now? What if you gone to someone else, so we can never be the same? How can I make up for my sins? Now I'm lonely and it kills me. Can you hear me, babe? I'm lonely. I know you don't wanna talk, but just pick up the phone. We could go for a walk, talk about the things we know. Why don't you come sit next to me? Let things happen naturally, like it used to be. I don't wanna go and waste another day. Mess it up again, lost in my way. I'll be the one to have the highest price to pay. If I make it home tonight, may I hold you one last time? Let me hold you Every moment tonight, they led me to you. Every single time you look at me, I lose it too. Why don't you come sit next to me? Let things happen naturally, like it used to be. I don't wanna go and waste another day. Mess it up again, lost in my way. I'll be the one to have the highest price to pay. If I make it home tonight, may I hold you one last time? Let me hold you one last time. What if it's too late for me now? What if you're gone to someone else, so we can never be the same? How can I make up for my sins? Now I'm lonely and it kills me. Can you hear me, babe? I'm lonely. I know you don't wanna talk, but just pick up the phone. We could go for a walk, talk about